folks, welcome back. So last week, as we were kind of wrapping up things up here, we were working on doing some cleanup up here in the loft. We were working on getting all our sawdust and stuff cleaned up from when we were putting together our window frames, and I was almost finished vacuuming up the floor up here, getting all the dust up there, and the bag and the vacuum blew a hole in it, and so we didn't quite get to finish that off. So to start this week off, I got another bag, and we're gonna finish off that little project. Alrighty, so for today, what we're going to be working on is trying to figure out where we want this wood stove to be so that we can get this thing hooked up. It's a little bit too cold to do any painting on our window frames today, and it's pretty windy outside. It's died down at the moment, but you know, I don't really want to be out in that at the moment either, so I figured it'd be a good time to work on this. Of course, it's getting that time of year, well, past that time of year, where it's kind of nice to have an external heat source, keep things a little bit warmer around here. So today seemed like a good day to work on that. Now the first thing that we need to do is figure out where we want that to go, and then we need to move the stove out of that area, because first we got to put down a hearth. We'll probably put down like a layer or two of plywood, and then on top of that I'm gonna put some tile. And I'm actually gonna use the tile that, if you've been watching for maybe like 3 years or so, I got a whole bunch of tile when a flooring store was changing to a new location, and they had a bunch of odds and ends of stuff they didn't want to move with them. So I went in and kind of took whatever they had left over there. So I have a whole bunch of tile laying around, and that's what we're going to use for our non-combustible surface underneath the wood stove. And then I may also use that to kind of put a back piece behind the stove as well to protect the wall from any heat. See if we can't put in some tile on that too. I've never done tile work before, so this should be interesting and probably entertaining for you guys, but that's the plan for what we're going to do with that. Then of course, once we get that done, we can move the stove back onto there and get some stovepipe, get all that hooked up, and we'll be good to go. So, you know, like a one-day project, something like that. Alrighty, I think I finally have this worked out for where I want it to be. Originally, you can kind of see on the floor here where the masking tape is. I was thinking I was going to put it that way a little bit more, but as you can see, our door comes to right here. So I got to thinking that the most logical place to put some wood in here, if I'm bringing it in through our loading doors here, would just be to bring it straight in, stack it right over here as close to the doors as possible. And in order to have enough room in here so that we can put a little stack of wood here and still be able to open this door here all the way, we had to slide it this way just a bit. So I think this is going to work. And it also should be far enough away that if we continue along with some workbenches along this back wall, because over that away is where we have our two existing workbenches, so if we were to kind of continue all the way along here, there should be enough space between where a wood stove is and where those workbenches would be that I don't think it's going to be too close, that it would be uncomfortable to be standing there if the wood stove was going. I think this is about the size that our hearth and our kind of our back plate would be, our back, backer board to keep the heat from going straight up against the wall there. I think that's about the size that we would use for that. I really want to make sure that I get this right on the first try, because of course our stovepipe will be going up through our roof, so I don't want to drill a hole in the roof in the wrong place and decide, you know, in another year or two that, gee, I really should have moved it over here or over there instead. So I think this is going to work where it's going to be. And yeah, so I guess kind of the next step is to get our tile over here. And this is just some 1/4-inch plywood that I'm just using as kind of placeholders. So we'll have to cut out some thicker stuff, like maybe 3/4 inch to use for, at least for the bottom one maybe, and maybe some 1/2 inch or something for our back one to hook the tile to. Something like that, I don't know, we'll see. Get some other plywood cut out here. I still gotta order some stovepipe to run up through here, but I kind of want to get the hearth done first to see exactly how much height we need, because for the lower part we have stovepipe, which will be black, and then once we get above the roof it's chimney pipe, which is a little bit different. It's stainless steel on the outside, and it's, I think, a little bit more expensive. So we kind of want to get our heights figured out pretty well for what it needs to be for going up through there. But anyways, that's all we're gonna get done on this for today. All right, so we've got a little bit more time here left today. The wind has died down a little bit, so it's not quite so bad out here. And in keeping with the same theme of the wood stove, we are gonna grab our firewood cutting rack, which is kind of over there behind the Massey. We're gonna drag that over here, and we are gonna start filling that up with some of the slab wood from the sawmill, and get that ready to go. I don't know if we'll do the cutting to length or not. Probably not, because what we'd want to do is move the tractor out of the way. Then we can use the skid steer to move the whole rack of slab wood inside there, right beside our firewood pile. Then cut it to length so it's right there beside it, so it's easy to stack. So we're probably not going to cut today, but we can at least get it filled up with some wood so it's ready to go. All right, so today we brought out some stuff that we're gonna need for doing the tile. First of all, of course, is the tile. This is stuff, like I already think I mentioned, I already had some of this stuff in some storage. So I just picked up some of this that kind of all matched. I think it ought to be a good color. I'm gonna lay it out here, see how it looks, but I'm not too terribly concerned about that. And besides, I was able to find enough of the same thing of that one, so that's kind of a little bit unusual because what I have is just a whole mix and match of different shapes and sizes and colors and everything, so I think we'll just go with that regardless. Then over here we got some of our adhesive and grout, and we got some spacers and a trowel that has little notches in it for spreading out your adhesive to hook the tile down. So we got a whole bunch of stuff like that up here. So I think we have everything that we're gonna need to get this down, I think. We'll find out once we start getting into it.